Welcome in to another stitch tutorial. I'm here using my custom made hook by Jelena, who is linked down below in the description, and 2 scrap yarns. Now, these aren't necessarily the ideal colours for this stitch, but it is up to you whether you use 1, 2 or multiple colours. It is completely down to you. But what you do need to do is not only make a slip stitch, oops, sorry, I'm doing the wrong thing, do a slip stitch, and do multiples of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. When you have your chain as long as you need it, as long as it's multiples of 5, you then want to double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. So we don't count the one that's on the hook, but because that's not a complete chain. You want to go 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th, do your double crochet. Now, when you've done that double crochet, you are going to count this starting chain where you did the going back 4. This is always going to count as a double crochet, because on the start and on the end of every row we're going to have 2 double crochets which make a nice parallel edging on both sides of your work. Now we've done our 2 double crochets, we're going to skip 4 chains. So we're not counting the one we've just worked into. We're going 1, 2, 3, 4. We're skipping those. So into the 5th, we are making a shell stitch. The shell stitch is 2 double crochets into that same stitch. So there's 1 and 2. Chain 1 and another 2 double crochets into that same stitch. 1 and 2. And there is a shell. From there, we're going to skip 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Into the 5th chain, another shell. So in we go for 2 double crochets, a chain, and 2 more double crochets. Skip another 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and into the 5th, another shell. 2 double crochets, a chain, and 2 more double crochets, all going into the same stitch to make a shell. Now you continue this along the row for however long you need to, but the end, make sure you stop when you have 6 chains remaining. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, as previously, you do skip the first 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But do you remember I said at the beginning, we always end and begin with 2 double crochets. So when you've skipped your 4, In the 5th chain, do 1 double crochet. In the next stitch, another double crochet, and that will make your parallel edging. On the end of every row, chain 3 and turn for row 2. Okay. Now we are going to do a shell in every shell chain space. So if I show you, so I have three shells, and there is where we did the chain. We're going into these chain spaces. We're not going into the top chain itself, we're going into the space, and we're making more shells. But first, we have our 1 double crochet, so we better make another one. So in the top of the other double crochet from below, let's make a double crochet and be consistent with our edge. Then we have the shell, so let's make another shell. You know how to do that, right? 2 double crochets, a chain 1, 2 double crochets, and then the next shell chain space, we're doing the same again. Another shell on top of the shell. Two double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets, all into that same space. Keep going all the way to the end, to your very last shell. Now, when you get to the end, there's no more shell, but we do have the 2 double crochets. So let's do the double crochets. So on the top of the double crochet from below, let's do a double crochet. And then in the next chain space, which is just on the curve, another double crochet. Now, for this example, so that you can see it a little bit more clearly, I'm actually going to change my colour for that last stitch. So I'm actually going to go back half a step, and I'm going to get my next colour. So I'm going to finish that stitch with the new colour, and this is purely so that you can see the difference and see the more defined stitch. So I'm going to finish that stitch with the new colour, and as with all rows, we are going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and turn. Now this, from row 3, now your repeat begins. So row 3, we're going to do a double crochet cluster in this row. So let's begin. We've done our chain of 3, which acts as a double crochet. Above the next double crochet, we're going to do a double crochet, and that will give us our 2 crochet parallel edging. Now we are going to be working in these spaces down here. That's what you must remember. 2 rows below for double clusters. Okay. For a double cluster, we yarn over and we're going as if to make a double crochet, but we're going all the way down to this space. We yarn over and pull through and up and make it level. Don't be all down here and keep it down here, because it's not going to do you any good. You need to bring that loop all the way up. Yarn over and pull through 2 on your hook. Yarn over and go again into that same bottom space. Down, yarn over, pull through and pull up, bring it to height, yarn over and pull through 2, and you'll have 3 left on your hook. With those 3, yarn over and pull through all 3 on your hook. And not that you can tell right now, but you have just made one little kitty paw. Next, you have a shell. So let's make another shell. Yarn over and in that chain space, 2 double crochets, a chain, and 2 double crochets all into that shell chain space to make another shell. After that shell, we have those big spaces again. So we're going to do another double crochet cluster. So we yarn over and go down to that very first chain space. So it'll always be 2 spaces below. Yarn over, pull through and pull up to height. Yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over, go back down into that chain space. Yarn over, pull through and pull up. Yarn over, pull through 2. You'll have 3 on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3. And unbeknownst to you right now, you've just made a second little kitty paw. Now we're at a shell, so we're making another shell. 2 double crochets into that shell space, chain 1 and 2 more double crochets. We're at the chain space, so yarn over, go 2 rows below into that space, yarn over, pull through and pull up to height, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go back into that chain space, yarn over, pull through, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through the 3 that are left on your hook. And you do the same thing all the way to the end. So for me, I've just got 1 shell left. You need to keep going with the shell, double crochet cluster, shell, double crochet cluster, all the way to the end. And when you get to the end, you should end on a double crochet cluster because you've got the spaces. Oops. And remember, you finish your row as you started with 2 double crochets. So there's a 2 from the first, there's a 2 from the last. Let's make 2 more. So there's 1 double crochet, and then we go into that very corner for another double crochet to make our edge. Let's chain 3 and turn. Okay, now with this row, with row 4, we are just doing shell stitch again. What we have so far is cat head, cat paws, cat body. So if we've got the paws and the body, we need new heads, and the heads are made with a shell stitch. So for row 4, your chain is counting as a double crochet. Let's make another one. So you have 2 double crochets at the beginning, and then in every shell chain space all the way along, just the shell chain spaces, we are going to do another shell. So chain space, and a shell, chain, 2 double crochets, into the next shell, yarn over, 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets, go over to your next shell and do another in the chain space. Oops, human error. Chain, and that's my last shell. So now I go over to the last 2 double crochets. So there's one right on the end and the one before. Sometimes it's easier to look from this side than it is to go, which one is it? Look at the end. You want the end and the one next to. So 2 double crochets to finish the row. When you get to the end, chain 3 and turn, and do a double crochet in the next stitch. Always start and begin with the 2 double crochets to make the parallel edging, and we are repeating row 4. So we're doing shells in the shells. So yarn over for 2 double crochets into the shell chain space, chain 1 and 2 more double crochets. Do that for every shell along, for as long as your project needs it. Two double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets equals 1 shell. Oops. Human error. Let's try that again. Okay, when you've done your last shell above your last shell, you've got your 2 double crochets to do to finish the row. There's 1. And there's 2. Now here is where I'm going to change colour. If you want to define the cats by colour, your best bet is to change colour every 3 rows because it is a 3-row repeat. So I'm going to come back slightly and I'm going to bring back the other and change the colour. Chain 3 and you repeat from row 3. So the repeat is rows 3 to 5 inclusive. So I've chained my 3, going in for my double crochet, and now I'm going to be doing my double cluster. So I'm going into here, 2 spaces below, yarn over into that space, pull up a loop and bring it to height, yarn over, pull through 2, bear with me. Oh, I know what to do. Hang on. Let's make it easier on myself. Yarn over, go back into the same chain space, yarn over, pull through, pull up that loop to height, yarn over and pull through 2, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. The next is a shell stitch. So we're going to do another shell. Oops. Slippery hook. There we go. Then we're doing the double crochet cluster in the second space below. So yarn over into that space, yarn over, pull through and pull up to height, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, back into that space, yarn over, pull through and pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through all 3. Can you see a kitty cat? Can you? Can you? shell in the shell stitch, chain 1, 2 double crochets, another double crochet cluster, and repeat that pattern all the way to the end of your row. And don't forget, always end on a double crochet and another double crochet. Now, you repeat rows 3, 4, 5 as long as you need them. I would highly recommend that to define your final cats, end on a row 3 like I have done, and then you've got your kitty cat. So let me just tuck in the tails, probably of the kitty cats. Can you see them? Can you see them? Repeat your row 3, 4 and 5 as high as you need to, as long as you need to. Always remember your 2 double crochets either side. Your chain of 3 counts as your double crochet. And have some kitty play. Enjoy. Hopefully you'll like it. Hopefully you'll give it a go. And don't forget, it's reversible both sides, of course. Upside down kitties and right side up kitties, depending on how you turn it. But there we have the cat stitch. Hope you liked, hope it helps. If it did, please don't forget to give a thumbs up. I'd really, really appreciate it. If you fancy a hanky marker, all you need to do is email me. The prices are in the community tab. I do put up a sale post once a month. Right now it is May and they are on sale until the end of May. All you got to do is email me. The hook by Jelena, custom made. She is down in the link below in the description. Maybe you'll think about subscribing after the thumbs up. Or maybe even before the thumbs up, because every Tuesday there's another new tutorial. Hopefully I will see you then. Take care. Meow.